Alright, and here we go. Welcome to match one, round one of my Modern Showcase Challenge review, Play Unexplained. We're on the draw against Matthias Ponciano. So we have a 7 here that is somewhat reasonable. We have 2 mana for Neoform. We have the Simian Spirit Guide for a turn 2 Eldritch Evolution if we draw it. We have the Summoner's Pact and 2 green cards. Now, one thing to note is that because companions got nerfed, and therefore I believe that we'll see less play from them, we can't infer what they're on anymore before we do the keep a mole decision, which was a big deal because Neoform is one of the few decks that actually can support main deck Veils. And if you see a Loris, then either you want to prioritize a really fast hand against like Burner Prowess or like a Veil Summer against Jund. But now we can't do that anymore. So this hand is 1 card away, and it can even turn 2 Eldritch Evolution if we wanted to. The minuses are that we don't have any ways to dig for the evolution spell. We have Metamorphose, which is cantrip. We don't even have the white mana for Glittering Wish to get a Neoform, although we have the Metamorphose, but that means that we're down a green card, and it's not a guarantee whether you can redraw into the green card. I'd say this hand is pretty marginal. I think I'm supposed to keep, but I'm a greedy monkey, and I really want to hit the nuts, especially on a 7 in a London Mulligan environment. So I think I mulligan, but I think it's a reasonable keep, if that makes sense. Okay, so I did mulligan here. Now I think this hand is much better. I think so. This has the potential to turn 1. So if we make the transport green mana and then we have the turn 1 land drop, all we need is a green card. Recall that we emphasize the density of green cards for this very reason. And a good rule of thumb is 2/3 of your deck is green. So 2/3 of the time you're going to have a turn 1 kill that where you don't have to even go all in and die to a pact, and you're on the draw. So you have 2 shots at killing on turn 2, which is still good in this modern environment. So then I'm keeping this. I'm gonna take bottom the Laboratory Maniac, I think, since it's not useful right now. Whereas like if you get like Inquisition, for example, and they take Neoform, we can at least appreciate having 3 lands for Eldritch Evolution. So past me did agree. Okay, so we're gonna reveal here. So we have about a 66% chance of winning on turn 1. So they're on Dredge, which is a very good matchup. Let's see if we draw the green card here. We do. Now here's an interesting spot. Like, do we want to burn a Nourishing Shoal, which is a very valuable resource, life, and go off in turn 1? I think that so I really want to think about each matchup's fundamental turn. So for Dredge, by fundamental turn, I basically I'm thinking about when do we need to get going, or when do we need to try to combo before the other deck does its like busted thing. For Dredge, I think it's like turn 2 or turn 3, so there is a argument for waiting and trying to draw the green card. However, I think that the floor is too high in terms of we have an Allosaurus Rider, not Summoner's Pact, so we're not going to die to a Pact. And in game 1, at least, Dredge will have a very hard time killing a 8/8 flying lifelink. So I think we should just go for it and like produce an 8/8 Grizzlebrand. And it's debatable whether we want to draw. I think we do because it's free. Like they can like creep and show us for like 6 or 9 reasonably, but that's about it. So I would like to see myself go for it and then at least draw 7. So past me agrees. Let's see if we draw. Okay, we don't. So I think this is like a safe play, but reasonable. I mean, we could have like a very freak accident type of spot where we get where they mill 4 creeping shells and then conflagrate for like 4. So that's like 16 damage. Like there's no reason to go, I guess. So I agree. They don't even have enough cards in their hand to conflagrate down the Grizzlebrand, which did happen once. Noted Dredge Crusher Sodek did that to me once in a Mox challenge and beat my turn 2 Grizzlebrand, which was pretty brutal. Okay, so they do have the conflagrate. One thing to note for potentially is that like if they have a black mana open and they could block on Dark Blast and Archamiba, but obviously we don't have to think about that right now. Okay, so they have a reasonable start. This is this is like turn 2, and they've milled over half their library, but obviously we don't care because we have a Grizzlebrand on turn 1. Okay, so I think we're gonna start by attacking first. Nourishing Show is a great draw. So keep in mind that we have the Children Corliss, but we don't have one Nourishing Shoal, which has been expended, so we gotta keep that in mind. Okay, so they're gonna block. It really doesn't matter whether they block or not. Okay, so we have the Summoner's Pack for the Autochthon Worm, so I think like we're pretty much good to go. I'll probably just keep drawing. One thing to keep in mind is like don't Summoner's Pact unless you have to, because otherwise like you might die to your pact. And also make sure that one you can produce a blue mana for Laboratory Maniac, which means that you generally want your library size to be above X, where X is a number cleanly divisible by 7. Like, so for example, like if we draw by 7 down to 2 cards, because we're at 37, we can still Metamorphose for blue, green, and we can like cast a Laboratory Maniac. Whereas if we're at 35 cards, for example, and we don't have a Wild Cantor, and we draw down to 0 cards, we can't convert these Simmering Spirit Guides into a Laboratory Maniac because Metamorphose draws a card, and our library will be empty. So something to keep in mind. Okay, we're gonna keep drawing here. Just gonna do this because none of this is relevant right now. So we have 2 Nourishing Shoals here, and 2 Summoners Pact, I believe. Keep in mind that having Wild Canter means that you can go to like 0 cards in the library because you can then convert the Simmering Spirit Guide into blue mana through Wild Canter. So I probably just like Summoner's Pact to Autochthon Worm, which we do. Let's gain a lot, and then the rest is elementary here, so we just keep going. And we do have the Children of Corliss, so I believe we get to show this off. For those who aren't familiar with the card, which I don't blame you for, I think this card only really sees serious play in Tinfins. So you gain X, where X is a life equal to the life you've lost this turn, which includes pain for life. So pain for life, pain for cards with life with Grizzlebrand. So I believe they're going to go up to like 50 or something. I'm going to be in a pretty good spot. Okay, so we're going to make the white for white for children and blue for Laboratory Maniac. So we went up to 40, which is kind of nice. And we're just going to draw the entire deck, and then we are going to get the Laboratory Maniac, and then we win. So here we see the power of this deck, although Dredge showed its power by drawing over half their library pretty much. By turn 2, we beat them no problem. So this is game 1 of round 1, and we're going to the sideboard of game 2 in the next video. Bye bye.